Good morning viewers, welcome back to the week edit here with me, KRUBALLY on Vision TV. As you all know, this is a program which is brought to you every Sunday. Today I have a special guest again, whom I will allow to introduce himself shortly. Our topic today is about corruption. As you all know, corruption is the talk of the town for many youths, and then it hinders many development in Gambia per se. So yeah, welcome once again to the program once again.
Thank you very much, yeah. Thank you. My name is YAHYA. I identify myself as a teacher, but I'm also doing journalism, as you know. Yeah.
You are welcome, Demba.
Thank you.
When it comes to corruption, how will you define corruption to the viewers?
Okay. Although corruption is a very complex word, but corruption can be said as the use of public office for personal gains. Now, in other words, corruption can also mean delinquency, wrongdoing. It could also mean extortion, nepotism, as we know in the Gambia. So corruption could also mean like palm greasing, that is like give it somebody money for him or her to do what you want. Yeah, so in a nutshell, that's what corruption
and
is.
as many people said, like they associate corruption with finance. When there is corruption, there is just involvement with money. Is that anything you have to say about that? What do you have to say?
Yeah, yes, that is also one aspect of corruption, because that is financial embezzlement. We can call it embezzlement. But corruption goes beyond that. Anything that somebody does for his private gain or abuse of office, abuse his office for his private gain, it can be considered corruption. Because even nepotism, to give somebody a job just because you know the person, is corruption. And that is very, very rampant. Yeah.
So how do you think this affects the development of youths in the Gambia here?
Well, corruption has a lot of implications. As you can see, Gambia, we are financially bankrupt because of corruption. So it has affected us at all aspects of our society. It has affected our health sector, our education system, our economic system. So you name it, corruption is just detrimental to society as a whole. Yeah.
So what are the causes of corruption as far as it is concerned? What are the causes of this?
Causes of corruption are numerous. Okay, one of the reasons why we have corruption per se in the Gambia, let me customize it, because we are in the Gambia. One of the reasons is lack of education. Yeah, many people are involved in corruption, but they don't even know. Yeah, for instance, like, let me repeat again, nepotism. Many people think nepotism is normal. Okay, like he's my relative, I have to help him. But it is corrupt. We have to give the job to the person who can do it. So that is lack of education, or the low standard of education can also cause corruption. Another reason is the relaxed laws. The laws of the Gambia are very relaxed, so it has given room for corruption. People are involved in corrupt acts and they walk free. So I think that is also a contributing factor to corruption and many others.
So what are the characteristics of corruption in these high institutions? I know the process, just like what you mentioned here. This is my relative, I have to help him. So I know there are a series of characteristics when it comes to that. What are the other things also?
Okay, like I said in the beginning, corruption is very complex. Now, according to the Transparency International's 2021 report, they call it the Transparency International Perceptions Report 2021. According to them, corruption takes many forms, like not guaranteeing civil rights, no freedom of expression. But alhamdulillah, Gambia, we can say we have freedom of expression, but still there's more room there's more to be done. Yeah. So in the Gambia institutions, as I said, in the Gambia, corruption, the form it takes, it's like it's normal. People have normalized corruption. You understand? That's the way I see it. They have normalized corruption in the Gambia. Now it has become more of a culture. Yeah, because people steal money. We have heard of cases here. We have heard of a lot of cases here, like at the Ministry of Health, Gum Petroleum. In other countries you do that. The next minute you are in jail, and then they investigate. But here, the court will even invite people, and they will not go. So the institutions, they themselves, they contribute in the architecture of corruption.
So how do you think this corruption issue impacted the development of the Gambia here, the economic development of the Gambia?
One of the reasons why Gambia is where it is today is because of corruption. One of the reasons, in fact, looking at the Gambia after I don't know how many years, when did we celebrate independence? We were celebrating 57 years. But still, Gambia, tell me one sector that Gambians can be proud of. If you go to our health centers, they are cemeteries. Our education system is in the gutters. You understand? Our economic system. Today, everybody is complaining about the situation of the country economically. The hiking prices, the fares, transportation, you name it. So the country, I don't know what type of country, in fact, we are living.
So do you think this, what you just mentioned here, like the high rate of transport and then all these issues here, it has to do with corruption?
Yes, it has to do with corruption. Because, for instance, as I mentioned, a public official, you are given a position to mount. If you cannot carry on, why not resign? But you are incapable, you are incompetent, but you are still there because of what? Money. They don't have a solution. The government does not have a solution for our fares. There is no solution. Because you can see every day, in fact, the drivers, I don't need to go into details.
Impact. Because when it comes to corruption, when it comes to the price control and then corruption or this inflation that we are facing right now in the Gambia, I don't think it is necessary, like it is related with this corruption.
It is all connected. Because corruption, what it does, it contributes to the malfunctioning of public institutions. You understand?
Like how?
That's what I'm saying. For instance, funds that are supposed to go, that are supposed to be channeled to where they are supposed to go, if they don't go there will be a problem. Like our transportation system. We need good roads. We need good roads. We need a lot of roads. That's what the drivers will complain. But do we have them? Do we have good roads? We don't have good roads. No. So looking at, since Barrow took power, how much money we have received, the Gambia at least should have solved some problems, especially with regards to transportation, because it's a big issue. It's a big issue. We don't have roads, and there should be laws, strict laws that are going to govern how the drivers should increase fares or reduce fares.
So when it comes to the Gambia again, what can the government do, like to minimize, if not to eradicate corruption in the country here?
Okay, I could say education. Education is very, very important. People should be educated. Our education system should be transformed. We should be taught about integrity. People should have integrity. There should be commitment. You understand? There should be sacrifices. So the government also, the laws that are put in place to check or to ensure accountability and transparency should be stressed. You understand? Now at the National Assembly recently there is a problem, or there is a bill called the anti-corruption bill. The National Assembly is not serious about it. I don't know why. One of the National Assembly members, in fact, was arguing that in order for them to pass that bill, there should be the pay scale of public servants should be increased. Okay, I agree to some extent, but I don't believe people are corrupt because they don't have pay. Because in fact, the most corrupt people are the people at the high-ranking post.
So you mean the corrupt people are just the leaders?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is corruption has to do with the mentality. Whether you are rich or whether you are receiving money or not, you'll be corrupt if you want to be corrupt. So I believe if we are educated about corruption, like the dangers of corruption, the implications of corruption, people will tend to be to have integrity and to not to involve themselves in corruptive acts. Yeah.
So do you think back again to it, because those are the leaders, they are our leaders, they are the ones setting these rules and regulations for us to follow, and then they are the one employing us, they are the one giving us the right direction to follow. So did they have anything to do with like corruption? They are the leaders. If they had nothing to do with corruption, it's like us, we the subordinates, we will not be corrupt.
Okay, now like I said, it's very difficult for you to point out somebody to say this person is corrupt. You cannot do that because you must produce evidence. But one thing I recognize is that in the Gambia we have a systematic corruption. The corruption is so modeled that you wouldn't even recognize it.
How would you describe that systematic corruption in the Gambia?
I'm coming. For instance, they create laws, or they create for themselves, how to call it, systems that will enable them to steal money unknowingly. For instance, the Ministry of Health, the COVID-19 funds, they were saying that they use some part of the money to buy air conditioners and to buy materials that are not relevant to COVID-19. That amounts to corruption.
So that is corruption.
It amounts to corruption because it is irrelevant. You understand? So to create a system, the system is designed in such a way that corruption will be very difficult to detect, and it will be very difficult to eradicate. Yeah, the whole system needs to be.
So what do you think we should do, like ask a youth, like the young people to do, like to minimize the corruption rate in the Gambia here, if not to completely eradicate it?
Well, what I would say is that we should shine our eyes as youths. We have to take responsibility. We have to take the mantle of leadership. We have to put our public officials to account to ensure transparency, and to prevent corruption. So as youths, we need to be educated. We need to educate ourselves. We need to train ourselves. We need to be law abiding. I don't mean, and also we need to get involved. It is very, very sad in the Gambia. There was a wave of corruption. Just the few months, we can count 5 cases of corruption. But you don't even see people talking much about it, because I don't even know what's wrong. Because when you talk about it, people start pointing. Is it because people start pointing fingers? Because it's not easy to say, but a public official who is accused for corruption, for instance, the Minister of Tourism, Ahmad Ba. I'm not saying he's corrupt, but fingers are pointing at him. He's resigned. Whether he is innocent or guilty, he's resigned, because it's lack of integrity for you to be for hands to be pointed at you. A minister for that matter. In fact, your own people, your people in your inner circle, is very, very sad. Yeah.
So viewers, if you are just joining us, this is the Week Edit here with me, YAHYA KRUBALLY on Vision TV. I am with Demba Waiba, a teacher and a student at the university, journalism student at the University of the Gambia. Our topic today is about corruption in the Gambia here, particularly. So when it comes to the corruption also, what do you think does it hinder the development of youth in the Gambia?
Corruption hinders all aspects of development. For instance, the education system. If there is corruption, I'm not saying there is corruption, but if there is corruption, but in fact it looks like there is corruption. As a teacher, I've been teaching for 7 years, so teachers, there is no kind of difficulty that we are not facing in the system. There's no kind of difficulty we are facing in the system. So looking at it, it has impacted the quality of education in the country. So we can say, okay, we can be passing exams and having all the A's, but is it solving, are our graduates from the university or from the colleges solving the problems that we are facing in the Gambia? We need to check our education system, because there is lack of political will for the government to invest immensely in the education system. If you want to develop a country, you don't invest in politics. You don't go around buying pickups to go around and convince people to vote for you. No, you invest in the universities, you invest in the education system, you invest in the college. That's what serious governments do.
So as far as you made mention like corruption, there is a systematic way of corruption in the Gambia.
Yes.
So do you think it is necessary for the Gambia also to have a systematic form to fight against corruption in the country?
We should not only fight corruption, but we should eradicate it, because corruption is a cancer. It's a cancer.
Cancer of the brain or cancer of the mind?
Corruption is how to call it. It's a how to call it. I don't know how to put it. But here I mean metaphorically. I don't mean medically. It's a cancer, and cancer, if it is not cut out of the body, it's contagious.
Exactly.
Now, looking at the Gambia, it's like we inherit corruption. We inherit it. You understand? We are not taught consciously how to be corrupt, but unconsciously we become corrupt. You understand what I'm saying? So the government of the Gambia and the people at large, they should be aware of it. But government per se, they should create a system where we'll be able to tackle corruption. For instance, one of the reasons why there is eminent corruption is cash flow. I suggest now the government should start to initialize digitization of payments. Now the world is moving to that direction.
How can they go about this initialization of digitalized payment?
All that boils down to education. Our education system should be technology driven, not teaching people about things that will never benefit us. But now the world is moving towards technology. You understand? So payments now, I would say most of it, if not all, but bit by bit, should be done in the direction of technology.
So is it necessary to say when it comes to technology, there is no corruption involved there?
No, I didn't say that. But you can minimize it, because, for instance, it will be difficult for somebody to steal money through electronic means. You understand? For instance, the NAWEC system of buying cash power, like the Q power, there's no room for you per se, you and I or somebody in the streets or somewhere to be able to steal. You understand? But in cash flow, you go and pay. Somebody can come at night and steal the money. You understand? There can be a robbery, and etc. So that's what I mean. Digitization of payments or transactions helps to minimize corruption.
What other ways also apart from this?
Digitization.
Yes.
Okay, another way, like I said, education, digitization, laws. There should be an anti-corruption bill. You understand? And this bill should be made a law. You understand? And when it's made a law, there should be a penalty, a strict penalty. You understand? Somebody cannot just steal our money, public funds, and the person walk free. It cannot be. And we should also involve international partners, because what happens, people steal our money, they go to other countries and enjoy themselves. That is very unfair. So we should work with multinationals, and to make sure that we curb the cancer of corruption.
Okay, so when it comes to you as a teacher and as a student at the university, do you encounter any corruption?
Every day. Every day we are encountering corruption, because in fact at the University of the Gambia, I'm not saying there is corruption, but if things go the way they should be, we should be having stipend.
How are things right now at the university?
At the university, well, I can say things are not 100%, although they are not also 0%, but they are not very encouraging, because as a university, we are journalism students. We don't have a radio station. We don't have a TV station.
So that is corruption.
Well, I cannot say that is corruption, but what I can say, if public funds are used wisely, we can have that in the university. If the government is able to manage our funds, we will have a standard university. At the School of Journalism, we can have a radio station, we can have a TV station, and many others.
And what other else?
What other else?
Do you encounter actually in corruption, related to corruption? As a teacher or a student? Now,
one thing is that looking at the whole country, the way the country is, you can say that the country is not moving because of corruption. Gambia corruption, as I'm saying, is a norm. It has become so entangled with our system that we don't even recognize it. You understand? So, everybody is a victim of corruption in this country. Everyone.
Everybody?
Almost everyone is a victim of corruption in this country. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how will you describe it then? Like everybody being a victim of corruption in the government?
Like, look at the rate of poverty, the rate of illiteracy. The rate of lawlessness in this country is a clear manifestation that corruption has penetrated every sector of our society. Yeah.
So we are coming at the end of this program, viewers. I would like my guest here to say something that will just a strong advice for people, because when we say corruption, many people will be thinking like corruption is in the Gambia here, so I should limit myself or I should just relax because there is corruption. Even if I try to do something, I won't succeed in it because there is a lot of high corruption in the Gambia. So what do you have to say to that? What are your final words?
Well, my final words are thank you very much, YAHYA, for inviting me to this wonderful institution or TV. And what I would say is that the government needs to step up, because as long as we have people, or we have corrupt intents in our system, the Gambia will not move no matter what we do. Yeah. So what I would say, the government should be very serious in tackling corruption, because as far as I am concerned, Gambia is rated 37 out of 100 according to the Transparency International's Perceptions Report 2021, and that is very sad. So if you look at the report, Gambia is among those countries that are painted red, meaning corruption is very eminent. And this is, in fact, it's not the first time. Gambia has been in this position for long. So countries like Finland, Denmark, we should copy from them. We should copy from those people.
So there is no corruption in Finland and Denmark?
Even if it is there, although they are Finland and Denmark are rated 88 out of 100. So even if there is corruption, it is very, 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 very meager. Because in fact, if you look at Finland, they have one of the best education systems in the world. Denmark likewise, they have ensured civil liberties. There is freedom of expression. There is transparency. There is accountability. So those are the yardsticks, or those are the how to call it. Those are the ways in which you can help to curb corruption. Yeah. So those are my final words.
Any advice?
Advice for who? For myself?
For everybody, for your viewers.
Yes, what I would say, I would advise myself as a Gambian to be a patriotic Gambian, to love the country, to be law-abiding, to educate ourselves, to distance ourselves from any corrupt practice, because corruption can be enjoyed in the short run, but in the long run we all suffer. So what I would advise is let our conscience guide us. Let us try not to involve ourselves in corrupt practices. And if you see anybody doing a corrupt practice, advise the person. If the person does not desist, report the person. And if the authorities didn't do anything, which is very likely, they might not do much, because as I said, this is our country. Well, you have done your bit. That is it.
So thank you so much, viewers. Please do comment on our Facebook page, and then like our Facebook page. Subscribe also to our YouTube channel. So this is all we have for you.